Hi everyone and welcome to my video about rankers and the top 10 rankers in the tower. First, I want to give a fair warning, spoiler alert. And just to be clear, like around 80% of what I will talk about only exists in SIU blog, but still, there will be spoiler here and there. Also, to be fair, if you are not interested in everything and you just want to know about one ranker or just one part, here is the timeline of the video. Please feel free to do what you want. Now, since that out of the way, I want to start by talking a little about rankers and how to become one, and few other infos which I think you guys will like. We start by talking about how to become a ranker. Well, it is really simple. When a regular reach the top of the Jihad Empire, currently the 134th floor, he will receive a rank and become a ranker of the tower. Also, it is his choice. So, if he does not want to become a ranker, he can just decline and will stay as a regular. But since most regular climb the tower to become rankers, this almost never happens. Now, let's talk a little about the Ranker Administration Office, also known as Ranker Affair Bureau. It is one of the most influential group in the tower. It is here that regulars receive a rank when they reach the top and become rankers. And precisely how a ranker rank is given is still unknown, but it is known to be calculated after investigating a person's power, recognition, and influence in the tower. So there are some cases where someone in a higher ranking because his influence in the tower is high. As an example here, with the relationship of Ha Yuri Jihad and Ivan Edor. Yuri is one of the top 500 rankers in the tower, and Ivan is one of the top 100 rankers. And just to be clear, Ivan is not weak, but he is not as strong as the people in the same rank with him in the top 100. The Ranker Administration Office was created by Tommy after Jihad ordered him. And just so you know, out of all the characters that SIU told us about in his blog but did not show in the main story, Tommy is my favorite. There are currently about 100,000 rankers, and the top 10% are called advanced ranker and the top 1% are called high ranker. So, in another word, there is 10,000 advanced ranker and 1,000 high ranker. Before we start talking about the top 10, first, let's explain a few things. The sobriquet. It is a type of nickname issued by the Ranking Administration Office. Usually, the title will reference the high ranker battle position or other aspect about him. Also, only high ranker can receive a sobriquet. And of course, they can decline the title like Byok Rion, who refused his sobriquet. And you can have more than one sobriquet like Kon Edwan. Also, fishermen are usually giving the name of aquatic life. Guides are usually giving the name of boat, and wave controller are usually giving the name of wind and waves. Now, let's start with the top 10 rankers. And in number 10, we have Ha Yurin. Her sobriquet is Snakehead. She is the leader of the Ha family, one of the 10 great families, and the great grandmother of Ha Yuri Jihad. She only had 2 children, twins, with another great family leader, Ari Han, but they never married, and she was never able to give a birth since then, even though she had many other relationships, possibly due to the power of her blood. She doesn't look much older than her great granddaughter, Ha Yuri Jihad. It is said that Yuri has the same look and the same personality of her grandmother. It was said that she possessed a very aggressive and bold personality. She would often be the one to fight in the front of lines of battles. She was the first person to hold the scout position in the tower. She possessed a very rough but intelligent fighting style and a strong enough physique to perform the duty of both scout and fisherman. And it is said she was the first to use Shinso to strengthen her body in the battle. But after she became the family head, she has not participated in any battle since. Then we have number 9 ranker Byok Ryun. He refused his sobriquet. He is the ruler of the 77th floor and Ulrich Mazzino best friend, and he is one of the founding member of Wall Hike Song and the current head leader. Also, he is the most gifted wave controller in the tower history, and as one of the top 10 high rankers, his influence is comparable to one of the 10 great families. He was born in the middle area as an orphan and roamed without a residential card. Eventually, he went into a forest to avoid contact with others, and he lived there for a long time. He naturally learned to control Shinsu while he was living in the forest. Hedon got interested in Baek Ryon ability and begged him to become a regular. The name Baek Ryon originated from the fine silk cloth that he was wrapped in when he was first found as a child. For number 8, it's kinda hard since there is no one who has the rank 8, but we have two people who are ranked 7. They are both in the same rank, so I will start with the one who showed up first. Ranker number 7 is the Jahad princess Erisha Annie Jahad, her sobriquet Great White Shark. Annie was considered to be the ultimate descendant, being the daughter of two families' head. Her mother is Erisha Blossom, while her father is Bubaido Gostang, and she was soon chosen to become a princess of Jahad. Back then, the competition between princesses was fierce and had even distorted the relationship between the 10 great families. However, with Annie's arrivals, many placed their hope on her ending the fight among the princesses. As a recognition of her ability, she was awarded the colorless December, and at some point she also took the white February after killing its original owner. But then she went berserk and started killing for no reason, especially members of the Jahad family. She would pretend to be a pacifist and then suddenly attack people in anger. Fights between the princesses had never been a problem, even when they killed each other. But the news of a princess going insane and disappearing with two of the 13-month series was something that could bring chaos. So Jahad ordered the princess to be captured. She knocked down Jahad men and killed many of the rankers who chased her. But even she couldn't defeat all of the rankers, and any Jahad was caught and brought in front of Jahad himself. Jahad, disappointed in his daughter, couldn't decide to kill her himself, and instead he ordered for her to be sealed away. So Ani Jahad was sealed in a mysterious labyrinth, and the colorless December was also sealed with her because its sentient half was in psychotic state, just like Annie. After she was sealed away, her parents split up and forbade marriage between their families. Then we go to the other ranker who is ranked 7th place, which also a Jahad princess, and her name is Adori Jahad. Her sobriquet Killer Whale. She is currently the strongest active princess in the tower. She is the commander-in-chief of Jahad army as well as the captain of the Jahad Royal Guard, and she wields the only S-rank weapon of the 30-month series, the Golden November. Although she is ranked highly, she has no noticeable achievement as a ranker. Since she does not like wandering around, she rarely participates in active duty. She has both male and female fans due to her golden hair and beautiful face. Even before she became a ranker, she quite easily defeated a high-level ranker. And when she became a ranker, in the few battles she had against other rankers, she defeated all of them with an overwhelming combat power. Many people have compared her to Annie Jahad, but no one could easily determine who is the stronger of the two. The debate still rages on until today, and it is one of the favorite topic of discussion among rankers. And just so you know, she is tied with Russia and Jihad for the 7th rank in the tower, which make them both the highest ranked non-irregular in the tower. Then we have on rank number 6, he is none other than the womanizer Con Edwin, and his sobriquet is Marlin and Blue Thunderclap. He is the head of the Con family, one of the 10 great families, and also the father of numerous children from the Con family. Edwin is known for his magnanimous personality and taking a delight in fighting. He is also extremely proud and self-confident, but also honorable. Con Edwin is famous for his lewdness, and he is the man with the most wives of the 10 family head. He has a lot of children. Before Enryu appeared, Edwin was considered the strongest spear barrier in history. The Shinso he controls is very fast and has a tremendous electrical power. It is said that when partnered with Hindu Look Bloodmother, they formed an invincible team. It is said that he wished to fight Auric Mazzino as he was the man who pushed him out of the top 5 rankers. He is also famed as a collector of multitude of the highest ranking item in the tower, and he value his collection very highly. Con Edwin had prepared a special test with shocking condition, which is whoever fight him and win is giving everything from the family. But so far none of the regulars have survived the test. Finally we reached the top 5 rankers in the tower, and we start with number 5, who also is the strongest of the 10 family leaders, Ari Hon, and his sobriquet is White Sword and White Ore. He is the head of the Ari family, and it is said that before entering the tower, he challenged Jihad 10 times and lost 10 times, so he became Jihad's servant. Ari Hon is known for giving a special test on his floor, and Auric Mazzino challenged the test, and he became the first person to ever successfully pass Ari Hon's special test. The last person to pass the special test was his daughter. Ari had I'm not gonna even try, so I will put her name on the screen for you guys, and her reward is still unknown. Ari Hon is the owner of the White Ore, the only sword made by masses. White Ore is known as the only S+ rank weapon inside the tower. Ari Hon stay at the 100th floor of the tower as the head of the Ari family, and his territory is the largest of the 10 great families. He is an outstanding swordman who has no problem wielding a sword even in high intensity of Shinso, due to his mysterious style of swordmanship that is said to be impossible to describe in words. Then we reach ranker number 4, Auric Mazzino, and his sobriquet is Ray Barracuda. He has a tattoo of his name and the wing tree symbol on his back. Auric is said to have a ruthless personality, and he seemed to be disliked by seemingly every woman he meets. He is recorded as the fastest person to climb the inner tower. After all, it took him only 50 years to pass every test and climb all the way up to the top of the tower. During his climb of the tower, Auric took Ari Hon's special test on the 100th floor. The task was for Auric to endure Ari Hon attack for 10 minutes, but Auric did the impossible and fought evenly with him, and after becoming a ranker, Auric used his reward from the test and took control of the 77th floor. He then transferred the control again to Björk Rion, and that is how Rion became the ruler of the 77th floor. As one of the strongest currently active rankers and irregular, and one of the founder of the Wall Hug Song, Auric Mazzino is one of the most influential and feared people inside the tower. Moreover, it is not an overstatement to say that every single move he makes affects the future of the tower. At one point, he arrogantly proclaimed himself as the champion of the tower. This can be due to the fact that no other ranker could match up to him, as he was the strongest active ranker. Finally, we reached the top 3. Well, the top 3 is kinda different than the others, since number 3 was number 1, until number 2 came and took rank number 1 and pushed him to number 2, until the current number 1 came and pushed both of them to number 2 and number 3. And ranker number 3, the most famous and greatest being residing inside the tower, he is like a god to the inhabitant of the tower and founder of the Jahad Empire, the one and only true king Jahad himself. And his sobriquet is King of the Tower because he was first to ever unite the tower and become a king. Jahad was rank number 1 until Enryu took the rank number 1 from him. Jahad was inactive for thousands and thousands of years until the event of the hidden floor. He came out of hibernation and is active once again, making him the highest ranked active ranker in the tower, right above Ulrich Mazzino. In ancient time, when there was no civilization in the inner tower, Jahad came into the tower and built his own empire. Jahad conquered the inner tower with the 10 great warriors and gained the control of the first 134 floors from the floor guardians. It is said he was the first person to form a contract with the guardian of the tower. He became the king through a contract with the guardians. On the day Jahad declared himself as the king of the tower, he decided to stop climbing, then hiding the key that would open the door leading to the higher floors so that no one could go beyond the 134th floor. Despite being well respected and famous for all his achievements, to those who know him, Jahad is known to be a cold-hearted king. Also, since it is known that he plays favorite with the princes, he does not consider them truly as his children, as proven by how he is not bothered by them killing each other. As a king, he is feared by all, to the point that even when his orders could cause a chaos to the entire tower, they are still carried it out of fear. One last thing that should be noted is that his chosen family, the Jahad family, is the one with the highest authority in the tower. Although none of his children actually have Jahad blood, he still has managed to create and sustain the most powerful family in the tower. Then we reached ranker number 2, the strongest spear barrier in the tower, Enryu, and his sobriquet is Red Tower, which was given to him because the Shinso within the tower turned red in his presence. Enryu is known to be a methodical fighter, battling gracefully to the point that his way of fighting is idolized by many rankers. When Enryu went to the 43 floor and instantly decimated all of Jahad fanatic with a single titanic burst of his red rain, he then was confronted by the enraged guardian of the floor, and that when he did the impossible and he killed the floor guardian while utterly laying waste to the floor landscape. After this feat, he took over the first place at the time with the nickname of Guardian Murderer. It was said that the amount of bangs he commanded is over 9,000. Yes, that is Dragon Ball reference. And finally, we reach number 1 and the mysterious and presumably the most powerful entity in the tower, Pantominium, and his sobriquet the Riddle. His mysterious appearance and disappearance from the tower left many unanswered questions, which is how he got the sobriquet Riddle. Pantominium appeared suddenly in the tower and broke into the Jahad palace, killing many royals and courtiers, all of whom were high-level rankers. He succeeded in breaking all of the lines of defense and ultimately faced Jahad, but he disappeared without a fight. The negative view toward the irregular have grown because of him. Pantominium became the number 1 ranker by showing himself in only one battle, dragging the Red Tower Enryu down to the 2nd rank. There are also a rumor that he he is the only one who could ever ascend to the 135th floor. The author said that Phantominium was actually one of the strongest 5 axes in the world, and he said even the weakest axis could defeat the strongest non-axis user. An axis user can only be defeated by a more powerful axis user. The rankers of the tower often debate about who would stand victorious if Phantominium ever clashed with Inryu. But since Phantominium is an axis while Inryu isn't, the outcome is obvious that Phantominium would win. But the people in the tower do not know that fact. And these were the top 10 rankers within the tower. I hope you guys enjoyed my video, and if you want any type of video next, just ask in the comment. And do not forget to like and subscribe, and have a great evening.